Episode 284. I'm going to serve him. This sentence was clearly the biggest evidence to prove that Spencer Cox was, in fact, Lila Cox. Her laughter was mad and sickening. Serena's heart was dull. She was clenching her fist and gritting her teeth. Lila Cox, how dare you do this to me? Spencer would not have thought that when she was in the car. The hairpin was just a diversion. The real trick was on the bottom of her black bag, where a wiretap locator was quietly attached. Go back. If it takes too long, she might become suspicious. I just need to use her to defuse those idiots. You think I want to sit and have dinner with her? My blood boils every time I see her. Lila's voice was filled with contempt, and soon Serena heard the sound of high heels. They came back. Wiping her tears, Serena pretended to take the phone and put it next to her ear. Lila had restored her original appearance by taking out the hairpin. Looking at Serena, she smiled. Seeing that she was on the phone, she did not say anything. Serena frowned as if she heard some bad news. Well, okay, I know. I will be there soon. See you later. Lila heard this and became overjoyed, but pretended to be regretful and said, Is there something wrong, President Serena? Serena nodded, hanging up the phone. It's something urgent. I'm afraid I can't keep you company. But I often come to this restaurant and you can ask them to send the bill to me. I'm sorry. No worries, you were too polite. Lila was keenly aware that Serena's eyes were reddish and asked, What's the matter? Is it so urgent? It seems that you are not in a good mood. Serena shook her head, took the bag and said, Nothing, just some personal matters. If so, I'll leave first. Good. Serena adjusted her watch and walked toward the door. Vanessa followed and quickly left the room. Lila and her bodyguard were relieved. It seems that this once she invited me to dinner without suspecting me. I mean, how could she not think of so much with her brain? If it were Jake's younger brother, it would be more likely for him to think something was suspicious. In any case, it's good to be safe. We need this identity as our cover-up. Let's go. Let's go home and tease the cub. Lila's voice was full of pride, especially when she said to cub. She even chuckled morbidly. Serena resisted the urge to turn around and slap her in the face and returned to the car. Marcus was driving and she was not in a hurry to go home. She called Drake Howard instead. Hack my mobile phone. Serena's requirements were simple and clear. Before he answered, she hung up. Drake dumbstruck but quickly followed her command. At a glance, he saw a light point moving fast and the surrounding lines were simulating the surrounding buildings clearly. The screen quickly switched to text messages. Then, Drake received a text from Serena. This woman is Lila Cox. Jake is still alive. She locked him up. Seeing this, Drake did not dare to be sloppy at all. Serena listened to Lila's conversation with the bodyguard and her heart could not stop shaking. Cub. She said the cub. Could it be that it was Jake? How could a person who was as proud as Jake be treated as that kind of creature? This was worse than killing him. Serena sat on the sofa with her hand on her mouth, unable to hold back her tears. No. If this was the case, how could Jake accept it? How could he take it? She knew him too well. But similarly, his childhood sweetheart Lila Cox also knew him like the back of her hand. She knew what to do to make him the most miserable, to cause him the greatest pain, just using her imagination. Serena felt there was no way she could survive. She wanted to see him. Tears fell uncontrollably. She felt like a big hand was holding her heart tightly, and it was difficult for her to breathe. The dark basement was a little damp. Darkness seeped through the air and the heart. The basement was very dark. In the basement, there was no way of telling whether it was day or night. One could not even see his fingers. In the darkness, there was the painting of a wild beast, hurried, crazy, and painful. The sharp high heels clicked on the floor, forming a brisk rhythm. Lila was humming a small tune. Obviously, she was in a good mood. The guard Carlito saw her come over, voluntarily took out the key, and opened an iron door and then a wooden door. In the end, she opened the iron railing to let her in. Carrying her purse and swaying her curvy body, Lila came in and turned the lights on for once. The basement was separated by a solid iron cage, inside of which was a space of less than 50 square feet, with a toilet and toiletries. There was a simple plug-in electric water heater, in addition to a toilet, a mirror, a towel, a cup, a toothbrush, and a razor. Just outside the toilet, there was a small bed which was very clean and simple. There was only one pillow, one quilt, and one person. Nothing else. A man lay on it, curling himself up into a ball and holding his knees. His body and his head were all sweaty. Blue veins popped on his temples and his neck. His face flushed, and it was obvious that he was in great pain. Because of the lack of sunshine all year round, his healthy, wheat-colored skin had become pale. His skin was almost transparent, so pale that it was bluish. Even the veins were clear, looking tender and brutal. Jake Robinson held his body and gasped heavily. He saw that she came in and reached out from the iron cage. He shouted incoherently, "Give me, Lila." "Oh." She took his hand and pulled him to touch her chest. "I will give it to you. You want me? Tell me. You want me or not? I'll give you everything." His hand was twitching, but touching her soft palm, he still pulled his hand back. "Give me the drug." "What did you say? I didn't hear it. Louder." Lila deliberately smiled and turned to look at Carlito. "Open the door and I will serve it to him." Hearing that, without any expression, the guard took out a bunch of keys and opened the iron door.